Hello and welcome to SewandSo TV. And my guest for today is Jamie Chalmers. Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
AKA Mr. X-Stitch.
Yes.
So, thanks for coming on. We're going to be talking today about glow-in-the-dark cross-stitch in a little while. But first, I just wanted to ask a little bit more about you because you are Mr. X-Stitch, but your website, mrxstitch.com, is a bit more than just you, isn't it?
Yeah. So the whole Mr. X-Stitch thing started out with me as a person wanting to find cross-stitch that I was interested in. I like cottages, I like kittens in the real world. I'm not a fan of them in cross-stitch terms, and so I was struggling to find things I was interested in. I started making graffiti cross-stitch patterns and set up an Etsy store and a blog, and with the blog over time started then finding other people that were doing the same kind of work that I was interested in.
Really contemporary, edgy kind of stuff.
Yeah, and things that were reflecting our times, and sometimes things were a bit rude or a bit funny and those sorts of things. And that was in 2008, and now Mr. X-Stitch has been going for 7 years. I have a raft of people who write columns for me. With the site, we don't do knitting and we don't do clothes, but we do everything in between as far as needlecraft's concerned. So we do quilting, needle felting, plush toys, lace, millinery, machine embroidery.
So really covering a wide spectrum.
Yeah, and really anything that can be done with a needle and thread, because it's about promoting, this craft that's been around for thousands of years and just making people understand that it's still relevant and that it's not just what little old ladies do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've got also on the site, forums and a real community sense going on as well.
I mean, it's been great to have started it around the time when things like Facebook and stuff started to take off, and to be able to build communities on social media platforms. So I've got a lot of followers on Pinterest, and I've been working on Instagram this year and really sharing work, and then also discovering people through that, So as well as featuring artist interviews with people who've exhibited in galleries, we're just as likely to feature, people on the internet who've done their first thing, but it happens to be really brilliant. And it's about showing the whole spectrum and taking it seriously, but not too seriously.
Yeah, and just stuff that's really caught your eye. And I think you were the person who coined the phrase stitchgasm, weren't you?
Yeah. So
what's
stitchgasm.
a stitchgasm?
Yeah, a stitchgasm is when you see an embroidery and you kind of go, oh, that was a bit tasty. And I think it's part of that thing of just going, this is a cool thing that just, we want to have fun with it. We want to show people that this is exciting. We used to do multiple stitchgasm Mondays where we do like 3 or 4 stitchgasms, and then usually I'd have to have a little sleep afterwards.
Take a little nap.
Yeah, I'm just not getting any younger. Spare me.
So let's move swiftly on and talk about glow-in-the-dark cross-stitch. You said you were going to come in to see us, and really excited. And I said to you, what's the hot topic that you want to talk about?
Yeah, and I said 1 word, glow-in-the-dark, 4 words. But yeah.
So, glow-in-the-dark, it's quite new. It's not been around long.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I've known about the glow-in-the-dark threads since they kind of came out, and it's something that really interests me. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be taken up by very many people. And yet I think there's a ton of potential there. I always say, glow-in-the-dark, essentially the threads look white, but they glow in the dark, so you can use them to hide hidden messages. So I say to people, you could stitch something that says, I love you in big block letters, and in glow-in-the-dark you can write, not really.
So I'm really happy with their gift until they turn the lights out.
I want to do a piece for my child that looks like a lovely fluffy cloud, and when you turn the lights off it says, do what your mother tells you. Because these are important messages, and glow in the dark is the right tool for that.
I love it. So you brought a few pieces along to show us as well, haven't you? So what have we got down here?
So glow in the dark fabric is a fairly recent thing. With the evolution of like digital printing on fabrics and stuff like that, glow in the dark's something that's now starting to happen in fabric terms, and I'm quite excited by it because what it does is it completely inverts the design. So you're stitching on something that looks white, with, in this case, variegated coloured fabric.
Yeah, lovely.
And then when you turn the lights off, the whole thing's going to be inverted. So in theory, the colours will be black, and it will be the background that will shine through.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a really exciting space to play in, because then if you think carefully about your designs, you can have ones that work in different layers depending on whether the lights are on or not.
Absolutely, because you can just stitch the different elements that you want to become visible. If you're, as you say, working on white fabric and white thread. So it's really exciting. So here's another little design you've done, a little QR code.
Yeah, so I like this. I mean, QR codes, again, are a great thing in cross-stitch. That one, if you bleep it with your phone, it takes you to my website.
So it does actually work?
It does, yeah. And a pro tip for anybody cross-stitching QR codes is always do, like, your single stitches, your bottom stitch. Do the whole design in that and bleep it with your phone right. Because, one missed stitch piece and you're in the plumbing section of B&Q rather than your own website. And then you can go back and stitch the whole thing. And because it's in glow-in-the-dark fabric, it means that if you're in a power cut and you think, I need an embroidery website, I've got you covered. And that's a very modern day issue, you know?
You can't see your stitching.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But, you know, you can get a stitchgasm. And I think that's what we all need in this day and age. So it's good.
So this one is stitched with a glow-in-the-dark thread.
Yeah. So I got this kit from someone called Bella Lane. She gave me it's an X, obviously. And then the pattern, the design is quite a simple one in that sort of herringbone style. But I decided to do it in glow-in-the-dark because I just thought it'd be quite nice. So that, again, when you turn the lights off, you're reminded of how great I am. I'm very
Maybe
fragile.
that's good for your wall.
Yeah, but again, you know, it's proving that point of saying you've got a coloured effect that looks one way in the daytime, and then if you turn the lights off, you've got a completely different effect, and that's what I think is exciting.
So we've got some of the threads and things to look at here. So this is the DMC Light Effects thread, and this is, you know, just standard six-stranded cotton. So, you know, there's nothing new or different about this. You would just take off your 2 strands exactly like you would normally.
Yeah, this is the one that started it all for me, for sure, and I just find it really interesting to use. A confession I have is back in the day when I'd finished cutting a thread off, rather than throw it on the floor, I'd often eat it. I know, but you know, the idea of putting it in the bin never really occurred to me, so I thought I'll put it on the floor.
Eat your thread ends.
Sometimes because it's cotton and you think it's organic, and it's probably more organic than the pizza I had for lunch. But with the glow-in-the-dark thread, I decided that maybe that wasn't such a good idea in case I radiated myself.
Yeah, probably not so good. Yeah,
but no, this stuff's brilliant, and it works really well because it is a cotton, and you know it's really easy to stitch with, and you can, you know, work it in with another colour if you want, and maybe, you know, make your colours pop out a bit more.
And then this is the Krynic blending filament. 5 wild colours, absolutely love these. And this is good for, you know, adding highlights to your work, or in fact you can even machine stitch with this as well.
Yeah, I think that's the really interesting thing with this is, you know, if you're into embellishing clothing or, well, any kind of embellishment really, if you use this in combination, have a bobbin of this on your machine, have a bobbin of another colour, and suddenly you've got something where the details are going to come out in many different effects. And now, I know you like to go raving, and I know...
always raving every weekend.
So, you know, if you want, you know, you can take your glow sticks, but you could also embroider a top that actually, when you're under those UV lights, is going to stand out like... You're just going to be the best raver in town.
I absolutely love that idea. Love it. So lots of different threads. There's another one. This is a petite treasure braid, which also has a bit of sparkle in it as well, which is really, really nice. And then finally, these are quite cool because nothing to do with embroidery particularly, but these are fabric paints. So we've got some lovely glow-in-the-dark fabric paints. You just have a little squiggle on there, and you know, you can just create some quick effects. The kids would love these. But I was also thinking that, you know, you could get a paintbrush on these and actually paint onto your cross-stitch fabric and use that as a background, which you then embroider over with some glow-in-the-dark thread, and, you know, really starting to make some exciting effects.
Yeah, I think that's it. You do see a lot of people who use pens and paints as a way of filling in spaces on their embroidery, or indeed, you know, giving them a canvas on which they can stitch. And I think this just levels it up really, because you start using this in combination with that, and then you've got something really vibrant that is going to, you know, come to life when the lights are out. You got your little party disco room going on. You're going to have all kinds of groovy things happening.
So all that's left to do really is to have a look at the effect of these. So what we want to do is kill the lights. So if we could just do that, please. So the kingpin here, you know, that really does jump out, doesn't it? That thread's gone black.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the way the fabric goes. But that treasure braid over there is glowing like nobody's business.
That's mental. That's really, really bright.
Yeah.
You can see you'd have so much fun with that effect.
And then it's pretty crazy that the glow-in-the-dark paint, even though it's blue, it's also kind of glowing green.
Yeah, that's a bit mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
so they glow green, so you're getting a different effect all over again there.
Yeah. It's definitely clever stuff.
So let's turn the lights back on.
How did that happen? What's going on?
I'm so excited by this. This is fab. Thank you so much for coming and having a chat with us about it. I can see all sorts of uses and applications for this. I think people are going to be really excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. There's loads of creativity to be had there, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, what people do with it. We've given them a taster. Let's see what they can do.
Definitely. Well, thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been wicked.